Ladies and gentlemen, Season 1 is here, and with that comes the release of Mr. Fantastic. This is one of the most unique characters I have ever seen in a hero shooter, and he is honestly one of the most fun characters I've played in a very long time. But of course, if you've been on this channel before, you'll know that every single character that I play is, for some reason, dog shit. Like here we have Necros tier list. A lot of people love to watch Necros. He's really good at Spider-Man. He puts him in usable, right next to Captain America, and Captain America is booty shit. Ladies and gentlemen, characters like this are my specialty. So, in today's video, I'm going to tell you why you're playing Mr. Fantastic wrong and how you can play him a whole lot better, a whole lot more optimally, and start winning a lot more games. This character is damn near unkillable once you understand his abilities, and he is a really good tank DPS hybrid. I think that he is super underrated right now, and we're going to get into that. So, grab some snacks and enjoy the video. But of course, before we begin, my name is Big Flounda. I make Marvel Rivals content, and I will be streaming tonight on my Twitch channel, so if you're a fan of today's video, really love to see you there as well. Thank you so much. First up, we've got Mr. Fantastic's basic attack, his long punch, Gum Pistol. Usually basic attacks have little to no tech to them, but Mr. Fantastic breaks that mold because this is one of the things that most players mess up the most frequently on this character. I see so many Mr. Fantastics just kind of using this as just a normal, just throw some punches, whatever. What a lot of people don't do for some reason is they don't drag their cursor when they're punching. You can actually hit multiple people with this move. And I know a lot of people already know this, but for some reason, nobody uses this in-game. You're missing out on a lot more damage if you don't do this. You can hit the entire team over and over and over again. Like, seriously, I don't know why more people aren't trying to do this, because it's not even that hard. It is a little bit buggy every now and then. Like, sometimes I'll get a hit marker and I don't get damage, but it still is really effective at doing damage to big groups of people. Another thing that you're going to notice here is that his auto attacks are incredibly slow. I don't think as Mr. Fantastic you should ever see this. This animation should never play on your screen. What you should instead be doing is the second you hit somebody and your punch is about to come back, throw out one of your special moves. It can be literally any of them depending on the situation, but you want to animation cancel this so that way it's not taking forever and you can get more damage out. This game is all about burst damage because of how insane healing is, so you want to try to get as much damage in as little time as possible. Speaking of special moves, let's go into his long-range grab move. This move is very interesting because it has two usages. You can either pull people towards you, or you can slam two people together and do damage to both of them. I've seen a lot of people completely ignoring the fact that you can hit two enemies together, and they'd rather just go for the pull because they think, well, if I pull someone closer to my team, that gives them a better chance to die, which is kind of true, but here's the issue. This pull and the range you get from pulling kind of sucks. He only really moved about 10 meters there, and that was almost max range, so if you really want to pull somebody, this only works with a character like Groot who can wall these people. The option is to absolutely try to get people together, because what you can do is you can throw an auto attack afterwards and use the tech that I just showed you where you hit both of them at the same time. Mr. Fantastic does great when people are grouped up, and you want to get them grouped up as much as possible. So, try to hit the healer, try to drag the other healer into the other healer, get them to kiss, and beat their ass. Next up, we've got his thrust. I think this move is honestly probably the most simple move in his kit, because it doesn't really do anything except for give him a little bit of mobility and shield. Mr. Fantastic plays on the front line a lot, so you'll be using this move pretty often. Usually, I'll just throw a punch out there, thrust somebody. I'll do it twice, honestly, for the extra health. I'll get 500 HP, I'll get a lot of shield from using that move twice, and it just lets you frontline a whole lot better. There isn't a whole lot of nuance to it. You can sometimes save teammates because it also shields them if you thrust your teammates, but the only thing about that is it will bring you out of the fight, and Mr. Fantastic loves to be in the front line. However, this can be a really good escape tool because it gives you shield and brings you back directly to your team. So don't use it as only an engage tool, and if you're in there, I would try to keep one at all times for an escape tool because Mr. Fantastic can die and can get bursted down if you don't use his abilities correctly. Next up is Mr. Fantastic's most important ability, in my opinion. This is the ability that makes Mr. Fantastic players either dog shit or really good. If you are utilizing his counter correctly, that it gives him 300 extra health and allows you to do extra damage, you will be carrying your games. This move allows you to literally at any point become invulnerable, get 300 extra health, and reflect basically half the damage. At max damage, you can do an 180 in one shot. Luna has 275 HP, so that's more than half of her HP. I see this move as almost like a better version of the Hulk shield, because if you're about to die, what you can do is you can just use this and walk back to your team, look very stupid doing it, get back to your healers where you can get healed. You can still get healed while you're in your counter and survive a whole lot more. I think the best time to use this move is when somebody's ulting or when you're about to die, because it can save you from death very easily. You can just walk back to your team, find your healer, thruster, get healed up, and you're good. You're golden. This is seriously one of the best survivability tools in the game, and I don't see Mr. Fantastic players using it like that. They try to use it for like damage, and I don't think that's very smart. Sure, it does a lot of damage, but I think that its survivability is way better. It makes you basically have 600 HP, 650 HP at all times, because you can just whip this move out at any point, walk back to your healers, E back onto them, and survive a lot of damage. This is also the only move that you should really be holding on to. Mr. Fantastic loves to abuse his cooldowns because they're very short, and you can use 2 charges of his thrust move. So honestly, I would only hold on to this move because it's really good at keeping you alive. The other moves, throw out as much as possible. And the reason you want to throw them out as much as possible is because we have to go into Mr. Fantastic Big Mode, which is his passive and his final ability. Every time you use an ability or hit one of these punches, you're going to get either 5 for a punch or 30 of this ability score every time you use an ability. You don't even have to hit the abilities, you just have to use them. But if you use your abilities and get yourself up to 100, you'll become Big Mode. I just want you guys to watch my health bar as I'm doing all this, because the amount of health that you can actually get from doing this is completely insane. I'm at 500. It bumps up to 950 HP, plus the extra 300 that I get from my shift ability. So I basically got as much health as a full shield Venom for completely free. It's just my passive. The only drawback to this form is that you can't use your abilities, but your auto attacks are empowered. They have less range, but they do a whole lot more damage. That mode is really good at frontlining, because not only do you have these empowered punches, but they have the exact same thing as your other punches do, where you're supposed to drag your camera around and you can hit the entire team. If they're in a Groot ult, you're literally going to be beating the shit out of 6 people at once. I think the most important thing to realize about this ability is that you can actually cancel it. This is great because you can't use your abilities. If you're about to die, if they're bursting you down because your hitbox becomes larger, you're supposed to cancel it early and then jump into this immediately. They're going to keep focusing you down, and you can maybe get a 180 burst shot on a healer and one-shot her. That is a really good strategy, and most Mr. Fantastics want to use the entire duration of that. Guys, that will kill you. They want to focus you when you're Big Mode. Like, I want you to realize this is what the enemy team sees you as. They are scared of you when you're Big Mode, and they want to target you at all points. This character is basically Luffy, and when you are this Big Mode, you are Gear 4. That is when you are at your strongest, so you'll get targeted a lot. So don't get caught with your pants down, and make sure to cancel this move if you know you're about to get bursted down and die. And finally, we have Mr. Fantastic's ult. One of the honestly not greatest ults in the game. It's kind of okay, but I have seen a lot of people using it wrong. This ultimate is not a tool that you should be using to finish off fights. It shouldn't be used to chase healers back to their spawn. What this ult is really good for is engaging fights, because every time you slam on your opponents, you will actually slow them, and it stacks every time you slam them. So the way that I would use this ultimate is I wouldn't use it until I got big form. That way I have enough shield to survive when I'm getting targeted in my ult inevitably. Then I would immediately go for it and start slamming on one single target. Don't try to hit the entire team at once. Try to target one person that you want to slow indefinitely and try to hit them with all 6 slams. Usually you'll be able to target both healers because the range is so big, and you'll have so much shield, and you'll be so mobile that it's hard to hit you. If you're able to do that, the healers will be incredibly slow so your team can follow up, and you'll be able to completely nuke them with CC and damage. Every time you slam, it does 75 damage for a total of 450 damage. So make sure that when a fight just starts out that you're going Big Mode, that you ult immediately after going Big Mode so you have as much shield as possible. A full Mr. Fantastic combo looks something like this. And of course, if you have your ultimate, you want to use it before doing any of that. But that ability rotation will maximize both shield and damage, so make sure that you're doing that. All in all, Mr. Fantastic is a very good character who's incredible at standing in the front line. You want to be using both your grab and your thrust abilities as much as possible, going big mode very often, getting in their front line and whooping their entire team with your disgusting punches. And really just be unkillable. Mr. Fantastic is really good on teams that only have like one tank because he's a really good hybrid of DPS and tank. You'll be usually doing as much damage as you take, so take that with a grain of salt. If you want to play DPS but you also enjoy tank, this might be a really good character for you to pick up. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's Mr. Fantastic Marvel Rivals guide. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, do me a huge favor, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All these things really help my channel out in the long run. They boost me to the algorithm. The algorithm gods help me pray to them. You know how it works. But seriously, thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like I said, I will be live on my Twitch channel tonight streaming this game. So if you are a fan of my content, I would love to see you there. With all that being said, I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace out, and thanks for watching.